Hello, and welcome back to Raghav TV for yet another video. Barcelona transfer news is flying in left, right, and center. We have almost secured the two free agent signings in terms of Andreas Christensen, centre back from Chelsea, and Frank Kessie, the Coast Ivory midfielder from AC Milan, both on free transfers. And I'm going to be talking about how they fit into the profile of Xavi's team. So let's get started. So talking about our summer targets, because our main focus is on that, our main transfer fee, I would say, would mostly go into that superstar signing, which as of now looks to be Erling Haaland, but you never know how it's going to turn out, because I'm not really sure. Still, I mean, reports aren't reliable. They keep recycling the same old news again and again, saying that Madrid, City, and Barca are the front runners for Haaland. And then today there's Barca and Mbappe being linked, which we'll talk about in the next coming video. And so it's really not sure who's going to be that superstar signing, but we need to rebuild the entire team, which is quite evident. Although we have a lot of potential young players with great ability, and but you still need that flavor of experience and reliability, or squad depth, you can say, in your squad if you really want to compete for three or four trophies in upcoming seasons. So completely makes sense. Andreas Christensen strengthening our centre back position. I mean, it's been weak ever since, for a long time. We've needed that. I mean, we got few reinforcement in terms of Ronald Araujo, who has been the superstar centre back for us. Then we have the resurrection of Gerard Piqué, and Eric Garcia added to the setup as well. So these are our three most reliable centre backs, I would say. Then most likely Clément Lenglet is going to be shipped off. Umtiti is going to be shipped off, and we have the likes of Mika Marmol and Arnaud Comas in the B team, but still need a lot of first team experience before they can actually step up into that role. So a centre back much needed. Andreas Christensen perfectly fits the profile, although not the biggest of signings, but silently a very good player. I mean, he's good on the ball. Although he hasn't played consistently for Chelsea, it's been Rudiger, Thiago Silva, and Azpilicueta. He's been in and out of the team, but quite reliable for the Denmark team, and he's a good centre back. And looking at how Xavi has evolved players as a coach, it would be really interesting to see how Andreas Christensen evolves in his role, because you have Araujo, who's a solid defender, but his on the ball abilities are good but questionable at times. So when you have someone like an Andreas Christensen, who is a cool, calm head beside your hot-headed and bumping in, hard tackling Ronald Araujo, it makes like a good centre back partnership. And I wouldn't say he's the PK replacement, but we replace every player as a unit is what I would say going into the future. Coming into Frank Kessie, how he fits into our midfield is, because if you look at our midfield right now, Frank Kessie offers something which nobody offers in our midfield right now. And before I jump on to his positioning and everything, let me make one point clear. Frank Kessie is not the Sergio Busquets replacement. I will repeat that. Frank Kessie is not the Sergio Busquets replacement. He is a centre mid and not a CDM, and he plays in a double pivot and not a single pivot. So that's something I want to make very clear. And kind of makes me think about Xavi moving on from Busquets, because if you look at Frankie de Jong's days at Ajax, he played in a double pivot with Shauna and and he had Van de Beek ahead of him. And if you look, it looks like we're moving towards a double pivot. We have Jandro coming in from Barcelona B, who looks like the closest thing that we can have to Sergio Busquets, although still miles away, and still lot of experience away from that. He is the only closest thing. Nico, He's good, but he's not up to that level. So only thing I see as how we replace Busquets is not by a player and is from move, and I see us moving clearly from a single pivot to a double pivot. In that case, the signing of Frank Kessie makes 200% sense. He's been ever improving with AC Milan. He's offering us the physicality in midfield that we've been striving for in our midfield for so long. Koeman looked at Gini Wijnaldum, and compared to Wijnaldum, he's like a super better player, and he's a good penalty taker as well. He's currently the penalty taker at AC Milan. It's not Zlatan, and he's a good solid midfielder. I mean, he'll give you cover defensively as well. He's solid. Although his on ball can improve, he can improve on the ball a bit more. His shooting can improve a lot, and that's something again. As I mentioned with Andreas Christensen, Xavi's coaching abilities is what I'm looking forward to with Frank Kessie as well. How he evolves and takes him to that next step as a player for Frank Kessie. And one more interesting link, although not done, is Rafinha from Leeds. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a wonderful, wonderful player, but Anthony is someone I would keep an eye on. Definitely, for sure. Anthony from Ajax. Remember the name. He is a baller. He's such a very, very silky, smooth player. He is somebody I would like to keep an eye on. He'll be very expensive though. And Rafinha, the cheaper alternative. I would still renew Dembele. If Dembele doesn't renew, and Rafinha looks like a very cheap transfer market opportunity. 35 million solid by 23 or 24-year-old, and he's smooth and silky on the ball. He's got that Brazilian flair for sure, but I would still prefer Anthony over Rafinha. So that's one deal we'll have to keep an eye on for the rest of the summer. So that's it for the Barcelona transfer news, and hopefully more signings and good signings as well. If Xavi wants to sign someone, I 100% will take that player. I trust Xavi blindly right now. So with that, on that positive note, until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.